Shane, Shane, Shane. Shane, 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 Shane. A-L-A-N, Allen. A-L-A-N, Allen. Allen, 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 Allen.
Hey! Episode 36 of the 38th Parallel. I am making a huge announcement today for the show. Don't bother looking at my name. Don't bother. Just pretend that doesn't exist. I want to let everyone know, my fellow Americans, that I've thought long and hard about this. Long and hard. Very long and hard. I've dug deep and I've grinded my thought process on how I'm gonna make this decision. And because it is the most important election of our lifetime, I think I might vote for Kamala Harris. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Neither of us live in a swing state.
Well, there you go. I guess that my vote doesn't mean anything then.
It really doesn't.
Yeah.
A friend of ours who actually does live in a swing state, he's getting like a dozen texts and emails every day from everyone.
Jeez.
All the political robocalls and stuff because he's like a super voter, you know. He's in a
What does that mean?
he's in a state where his vote matters.
Oh, okay.
Well, I told him that what it meant was he's gay because
His vote has superpowers.
Well, he must be registered to vote because I think if you weren't registered to vote and you hadn't voted like in forever, then you probably wouldn't be getting all those. So I think what he's actually done in complaining is he's outed himself as a voter. Which you've outed yourself as a voter too, except for it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for me either. I had a coworker, and which is kind of weird, by the way, because like at work it's sort of like taboo. You're not supposed to talk about politics and stuff. I had a coworker just flat out telling people, I want to know that all of you guys are voting for Trump.
Really?
Like I want to know that when it comes election day, that all you guys are going to do the right thing and go vote for Trump. And I was just telling myself, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't say anything.
Don't be that asshole.
And then I finally said, okay. I'm not. He said, but of course, this person immediately, no introspection whatsoever, immediately seized on, oh, so you're voting for Kamala Harris. Like, no.
Yeah.
Because I said, because the thing is that they're trying to make you out to be like, well, you're not doing your part to save America. And I was like, yeah, but you're not doing your part because we don't live in a swing. We live in a deep red state. It's going to go to whoever the Republican candidate is. If Trump died tonight and they just promoted J.D. Vance would win the state because it's going to be a deep red state. So I actually turned it around on them and said, actually, you're not doing your part because if you were being serious about saying that it's either Trump wins or the world comes to an end, then you would have picked your shit up and moved to Pennsylvania and registered to vote there. But you didn't because you're a fucking fraud.
Wow.
If
So
you're telling me that I'm a bad person because it's literally my candidate wins or end of the world, you're like existential crisis is what you're saying, then you would move out of your state where the winner is already decided and you would have gone to a swing state and registered there.
So what you're saying is me saying that I think I might vote for Kamala Harris. I'm just being a fraud.
You should move to like Michigan and register to vote for Kamala Harris.
Or Texas if I really want to try and turn that state blue.
That's not going to happen. That's a waste. don't even
No?
worry about that one.
You sure?
Yeah.
There's a lot
And
of Hispanics there.
Because it goes both. Well, the Hispanics are voting for Trump, so he's actually leading in the Latino vote.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's right.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm an average Kamala Harris.
yeah,
supporter.
yeah,
I don't know what I'm
yeah,
talking about. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
You're living
stupid.
up to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
You've only been one for like 5 minutes, and you're already.
I can play the part perfect.
It's wild. I was actually talking with somebody about this at dinner this very evening, that if you just took all women out of voting, then all 50 states would be red. And that's still accounting for like the hardcore leftist states and minorities. Every single state would be red if women couldn't vote. Isn't that crazy? Like,
What are you trying to say?
could you imagine like New York and California going red because women weren't allowed to vote one year? That's
Reagan.
nuts.
Literally the Reagan second term. That's like the
Yeah,
the
but
last
women
time.
could vote then.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But
See again.
Yeah. You talk about Reagan as if it's ancient history, as if like I wasn't alive.
That was 40 years ago. That's a long time ago. Way long time ago. Slavery. What is that? Never heard of it.
It wasn't so bad.
So actually, if Donald Trump does become president, democracy is on the ballot, as we know. And if Donald Trump wins, then democracy will cease to exist. So we must vote for the Black Indian woman, Kamala
Jamaican,
Harris.
she's not black. She's not black.
Whatever.
That's why blacks don't like her, because she's not.
She said she's black. I will take her word for it. She is black and Indian.
But that's
and a
how
woman, apparently.
That's one of the main reasons why she's lost so much of the black vote, because blacks don't like her saying she's black when she's not.
Well, you know how I know she's black? She's going to be on Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay podcast. Donald Trump's on Joe Rogan's. Ooh, wow. She's going to go on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp. What kind of juicy tidbits is she going to talk about with politics there? Ooh,
yeah, but Trump has like 5 kids from 3 baby mamas, and he's a felon, and he's been shot, and he worked at McDonald's, so he's black.
Kamala Harris said she worked for McDonald's, so I believe her.
She also said she was a prosecutor, but there's literally no evidence of her ever trying a case.
There's no court filings or anything with her name.
There's been a challenge out for months for anyone to produce any filings showing Kamala Harris trying a case in court, and no evidence has been put forth.
What about all the people that she put in jail for marijuana charges?
She never tried the cases. Most of those people just take a plea deal because they set you down and say, look, son, you're going to go to prison for 10 years because you smoked a doobie, or we're going to put you in there for life because you handed it to someone else. And so they'll think, oh God, let me take the deal. That's what they do. That's what people like Kamala Harris do to people. But she never actually tried any of the cases in court. She just worked in the prosecutor's office. Probably not the first time she's worked in an office.
Why gotta be sexist? I mean, come on. She's worked hard to get where she's at right now. I mean, she literally went from nothing to now she is the Democrat presidential nominee. and she's pretty close to beating Donald Trump. Like it looks like it's neck and neck. I mean, it really is close.
She's the Democratic presidential appointment.
They had a convention. They voted for her. They're like, yeah,
Who's
Kamala
they?
Harris. The people
Who's
at the
they?
DNC.
They voted for her. Oh yeah, they did.
The people at the DNC said, "Hey, Kamala Harris, you could be the nominee." Yeah, I accept your nomination. There you go. Everyone's like, "Yeah, I agree." So there you go. She's worked hard to get where she's at right now. So I applaud her.
This woman has run on the national level for like 8 years and has received 800 total votes. Isn't that crazy?
It's 800 more than you and I have ever gotten. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I bet I could get that many people to write my name in. I bet Ron Paul will have more write-ins than that.
You know, going back to your story there, what you should have said was when that guy was asking everyone to vote for Donald Trump, whatever, and you said no, and he automatically said, "Hey, you voting for Kamala Harris?" You should have said, "No, I'm doing something worse. I'm voting for Chase Oliver."
I would never do that because then that person would say, "Who?"
Yeah, but then you do the libertarian thing and be autistic about, well, this is what his platform is, blah 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 blah. You like this about Trump? Well, guess what? Chase Oliver does da da da. And he's like, "Oh yeah, you know what? That actually makes sense. I might vote for Chase Oliver because he sounds better than."
Said no one ever. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, JC.
I'm trying to get votes away from Donald Trump right now. If that means voting for Chase Oliver, then vote for Chase Oliver. Don't vote for Trump. Vote for Chase Oliver.
I saw somebody say that this week, that there was people online. You know how these people do? They get like their little printout of their little ballot where they've like they've filled in the oval for who they voted for. Look at me, I voted for whatever. So there was people sharing their ballots for Jill Stein. Like, look at me, I voted for Jill Stein. And a bunch of the comments were, "I'm really happy you did that because that's one less vote for Kamala." Like, there was a bunch of people like that were like applauding and cheering for the Jill Stein voters. Like, yeah, you guys should really like I'm inspired by you guys standing up for what you believe in. You know, down with the regime candidate, vote your conscience, vote Jill Stein. And it was a bunch of MAGA people saying that because you know that no Jill Stein voter was going to vote for Trump, right? Yeah. They were all going to go vote for the Democrat. Yeah. So yeah, Jill Stein's like retweeting these people voting for her, and all like the MAGA people are retweeting it too. Like, yeah. It's fucking great.
Hey, those people can be pretty funny. You got to admit, they can be pretty funny.
And then of course, because it's like, you know, a lot of libertarians, you know, may potentially vote Republican, but instead they would vote Libertarian. And a lot of Democrats or a lot of Green Party people or socialist people might vote for Jill Stein instead of voting for Kamala Harris. The difference is that a bunch of the Libertarian people actually will vote for Donald Trump because they don't want to vote for a gay commie as a libertarian, and that Trump said that he would pardon Ross Ulbricht. So, because I think, all joking aside, I think that there's going to be a notable number of like self-described libertarian or, you know, whatever, classical liberals that are going to vote for Trump based entirely. It's just transactional. He said, "I'll free Ross." Everybody wants Ross freed. You know, Kamala Harris isn't going to pardon Ross Ulbricht, right? Like, Kamala Harris wants to execute Ross Ulbricht just to spite everyone. So I think a lot of people will vote for Trump because they'll say look at it from seriously, look at it from a libertarian perspective. You don't want to worship Israel and you don't want to go to war in the Middle East. Well, guess what? Both candidates are going to do that. Both candidates are beholden to Israel. Both candidates are probably going to support.
That's what's going on right now.
Yes. Yeah. World War III just started tonight, and both candidates are all in because both candidates are Israel first candidates. So if Kamala, they're totally indistinguishable on that, and of course they're both terrible on spending. I mean, the Democrats are worse, and the Democrats are more likely to just reach into the goodie bag to give to people who don't deserve it and to take from people who do deserve it. So by that standard, they're worse. But Trump added a ton of debt to the national debt, blah 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 blah. But at least Trump said, well, here's some policies I don't like. Here's some appointees I want to bring into my administration with the explicit intent of addressing these problems, and I want to pardon Ross Ulbricht. If he does that and nothing else, he's automatically a more successful president than we've had in 20 years. Automatically.
Yeah.
And that's, by the way, it's a super low bar, by the way, because he pardons one tech guy out of prison. Yeah. He's automatically the best president like since 2000. That's a super low bar.
You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. So, hell yeah, go vote for Jill Stein, lefties. Do it. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it is funny seeing libertarians getting all butthurt because they're saying that, oh, well, Donald Trump is this and that and all that. And all the libertarians who are going to vote for Trump to go, yeah, but then he's going to do this stuff like you were just mentioning with Ross Ulbricht and all that stuff. Like, how many votes do you think Chase Oliver is actually going to take from the people who are going to vote for Trump? Probably zero, right? Probably zero.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would definitely be an interesting thought experiment. There's no way that you could really like test it, but it would be an interesting thought experiment to see. Take the people who are going to vote for Chase Oliver. Mm-hmm. If you had to put a gun to their head and they had to vote for someone else, who would they vote for? I would be willing to bet that most people who are like enthusiastic, genuine Chase Oliver supporters and have been like since before the convention, I bet most of those people with the gun would vote for Kamala Harris or maybe even Jill Stein. I bet they would not have voted for. I bet they weren't Trump voters who voted for Chase Oliver because their party has a nominee and they want to stand on principle and not, and therefore well, shucks, I would have voted for Trump, but I'm not because I'm a member of the Libertarian Party. I bet they're more leftist. I think the right wingers that were involved in LP politics are just going to go vote for Trump because they're like, fuck Chase Oliver. It's not my candidate. So, whatever. Now, so two interesting thought experiments then. The first one is would the majority of genuine, enthusiastic Chase Oliver supporters would they have voted for Kamala if not Chase? Or are they actually going to vote for Kamala anyway, but they publicly support Chase? And then the second thought experiment being if who was the right wing, who was the tard ass who took the gummy and then like chewed out the report? Michael Rectenwald.
Oh yeah.
If Michael Rectenwald had won the nomination, would these people actually be supporting Rectenwald, or would they have voted for Trump because Trump promised them stuff at the convention and all that? I think that most of them would still support Trump over Rectenwald, just like they will support Trump over Chase Oliver, even if Rectenwald was their guy. Mm-hmm. I think that they still would have been more likely to vote for Trump. So it really says something. It really says something about that voting block that you're like, it's not even a voting block. It's already been split into two. There's the half that would vote for anyone before Trump. So maybe they vote for Chase. And if not Chase, they're just going to vote for Kamala. And then there's the half that are probably going to vote for Trump for the equal and opposite reasons. Even if their guy had won the nomination, they would have still voted for Trump because it's like, well, like let's be real with ourselves. Trump is actually in the race. Our guy has no legit chance to win. Trump said he's going to free Ross. Trump wants to lower taxes. Trump was saying, Trump's flirting with some crazy ideas like, well, let's just jack up the tariffs and get rid of taxes. Like, well, jacking up tariffs is bad. Mm-hmm. But getting rid of the income tax is good. So on the whole, that would be bad for the economy, but we've reached a point where like we're post constitutional, post persuasion America. In the world we live in now, you should just support the person who's going to give you the goodies. Because if you don't, they'll get their person and they'll get the goodies. That's it. It's just who gets who gets to put their hand in the grab bag until the whole thing collapses. So you might as well support the guy who's going to give you something you want. You might as well. So it's not impossible that tariffs could pay for government and then we don't have an income tax. But that's only made possible if we cut government back down to like the size it was in the like 1900s, late 1800s. So since that won't happen, Trump's plan doesn't really have any realistic chance. But I would still rather have someone who's openly saying, well, let's just fiddle with the code and just get rid of tax versus Kamala, who's like, let's make them pay their fair share. Those are like, whose slogan do you believe in more? It's like, let's just get rid of the taxes and make the foreigners pay for it, or which again, I know that's not true because tariffs are a tax on yourself, but whatever. That's his line. Or let's make them pay their fair share. Who do you want to vote for out of those two people?
Make them vote there. Well, as your average Kamala Harris supporter, paying your fair share sounds pretty nice to me. So I'll be voting for the for your fair share, whatever the fuck you said. I'll vote for that lady.
So if your candidate doesn't win, do you pledge to still pay your fair share, even though I won't be?
No, I'll probably move to Brazil or something.
No, you won't. None of them ever do that.
I'll move to Canada.
Ever do that?
I'll move to Canada.
Like Trump already won an election in 2016, and exactly none of them did that. None of them left. They're all here right now. So when he wins here, like in a week, in 2 weeks, like, are they going to move to Canada or are they going to stay? They're going to stay.
I'll be moving to Canada. Mark my words.
Yeah. You might could pass for one of their indigenous people.
I looked the part. Yeah. They might give me some of that awesome healthcare they have up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Their healthcare is really good as long as you're in good health and don't need care.
As long as you don't step foot in the hospital, you're good to go.
Yeah. Just don't get sick or hurt.
So another thing about Kamala Harris's economic policy is
oh my God, you actually know something about Kamala's policy? She doesn't. Please tell us.
Yeah, I think it sounds pretty good. As your average Kamala Harris supporter, I think it sounds great. I mean,
what do you like about it?
Well, she wants to get rid of price gouging. I think that's a good thing. We don't need companies to raise the prices for no reason whatsoever. Why? It's all about corporate greed, Alan.
What companies are doing it though?
All the grocery stores, Walmart, Target, Kroger, Food Lion.
How much did they raise the price by? Food Lion. Food Lion. Oh my God.
Piggly Wiggly. I don't know.
We're down to only one Piggly Wiggly left here. All right.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah,
the American dream is dying.
Yeah. This used to be a proper country.
But yeah, they're raising their prices like eggs now. They used to be $3 or whatever. Now they're up to $6. Like, I don't understand that. Like, why does like Albertsons? Why does Albertsons decide, hey, we should raise the prices of eggs? Why? Like, I don't understand that. So price gouging, I think Kamala Harris is right. She's going to eliminate price gouging, and that'll in turn lower the price of groceries. That's her plan, and I like it. Mm-hmm. So as your average Kamala Harris supporter, I'm checking that box.
The one thing that instantly crushes all them is to say, whenever prices go down on anything ever, like whenever the price of gas goes down, whenever anything goes down, why do you think that is? Like, did they just stop being? Are they just less greedy this week?
Yes.
Well, at least you're sticking with it.
Yes.
I wonder how come it is that they're less greedy on Tuesday than they are like on Thursday.
Well, payday's coming up. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Like your average Safeway, is it gonna like just, hey, let's bring the prices down of milk to $2 as opposed to $3.50? Safeway needs to make more money. Or
Same.
or how about Market Basket? If Market Basket continues to raise their prices, price gouging. That's all it is.
I,
Someone asked her at the town hall, well, how are you going to lower prices of groceries? And that's what she said. Eliminate price gouging. Sounds pretty good
she
to me.
she was also asked at the town hall if they're going to quit supporting the genocide in Gaza, and her answer was, "The deaths over there are really sad. So
They are sad.
that's why you need someone like me who can focus on lowering the price of groceries." And Anderson Cooper looked at her like, "What?"
Well, she was still answering that question from before. She was still thinking about that question because it like hit her so hard. Like, oh shit. Price gouging. That's like the best answer I've ever given. She was still thinking about that awesome answer, that talking about Gaza. That was like, that wasn't even in her thought at all.
Because he also asked her, um, like, name one mistake you've ever made, and she was like, "Well, I've made a bunch of mistakes." I was like, "Okay, name one." She couldn't do it. In her mind, she doesn't believe that they've done anything wrong ever. So
Sounds like someone
everything,
else that's running for president.
but he has been president the last 4 years.
But he was
So
president for the 4 years before that.
yeah, but we're running on the current 4 years, and she herself said that there's no excuses. You are what your record is. Those are her words. And then when confronted with all the things wrong with the country, she said, "Well, yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't do anything different though."
You know what? I think you've
What?
convinced me.
To vote for. Oh, I thought you were going to change it to Jill Stein. See, it's the logical progression. So you went from you're voting for Kamala to now you're voting for Jill Stein, which is taking a vote away from Kamala. No, it's fine. Your average Donald Trump supporter. No, the problem with your average Donald Trump supporter is they're the people that walk around with these signs that say, because I talked about this on the show the other day. I went to a place and they had this flag up, and the flag said, "God, guns, Trump." And then of course then me, I'm like, "Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't say anything." All right, I'm sorry. Hey, all right, so God, do you honestly think that Donald Trump is a good like representative of Christian values? No. Okay, guns. Did you know that Donald Trump prosecuted more federal gun control in 4 years than Obama did in 8? He has the all-time record for federal gun control cases of all presidents of all time. Donald Trump does. And the answer I get almost every single time is, "Nuh-uh." I'm like, "Nuh-uh." You can Google this. It takes 5 seconds. Nuh-uh. He believes in the Second Amendment. It's like, you can believe in whatever you want. Yeah, your average Chase Oliver supporter. So if your little boy is playing with dolls, then cut his dick off. We just can't have a gay person. That's just how it is. Yeah. Who's that crazy black guy that's still on the
Cornell
ballot?
West.
Yeah, your average Cornell West supporter. I haven't met one before, but so I don't know what the average is.
Okay, sorry. So going back to the town hall thing. So
It was bad. Like, I honestly think.
wait.
Do you
hold on a
remember?
second.
Hold on. I want to say this really quick. Do you remember you and me sitting here like a week ago today, talking about how Kamala Harris has been putting on some bad performances, but the election is kind of slipping away from her, so they kind of have no choice but to put her out there. Like she has to go out there and do some interviews and swing for the fences because she can't just hide in the basement like Biden did because she's losing ground. Do you remember us having that conversation?
Yeah.
And then what happened? What happened immediately after that? She went and did a town hall and bombed. So it's like glass half full, glass half empty. Glass half full is that, well, she needed to do something and she went out there and did something. Glass half empty, she slipped further in the polls because it was an absolute fucking disaster. You can't this is me as being as gracious as I possibly can be to Kamala Harris. You can't blame her for trying because the polls are not going the right way. Like you can't be slipping in the polls and then just sit around and wait for the election. You can't just concede.
Yeah.
You have to campaign, right? You got to go campaign. And Tim Walz can't be your primary campaigner. He's bouncing around the stages like a.
Did you see him on Jon
fairy.
Stewart?
Yeah. What a big fag. So Kamala Harris is like, you've basically got a week at this point to convince the final 3 undecided voters in America to vote for you. So she did the right thing in the sense of you have to do something. You can't just sit here and accept defeat. But it blew up in her face, predictably, because that's who she is. She's used to having things blow up in her face.
I mean, okay, so going back to what you were saying about her response about Gaza and the fact that she had the fucking audacity to say like,
yeah,
oh yeah, it's sad over there, but I mean, price of groceries, I mean, come on, right? It's like,
did you notice how after that town hall on CNN with Anderson Cooper, like nobody was making any AI videos of it because the actual thing is way worse than you making anything up.
Oh man,
it was bad.
Missed that part.
It was bad. It was really bad.
I just saw that one clip where the political science undecided voters, like, come on, she does not know fucking undecided. Look at her. She's not undecided.
Did you see that article that was in The Hill? That was it was an op-ed that somebody wrote, and the article was Joe Biden the better candidate after all? Like, yeah, like there's some people that are starting to say out loud that with just how bad Kamala has done, particularly over the last few weeks, maybe they should have just stuck with Biden.
This is also how you know it's bad. That Samuel L. Jackson was out saying, her favorite cuss word is motherfucker. Okay, so I guess that's why we got to vote for her, because her favorite cuss word is your favorite cuss word. Great, thanks, Sam.
Yeah. So.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And Obama's the one doing all of her campaigning.
Yeah, and it's not going well for him either. It's blowing up in their faces. So the thing is that, like, again, you can't blame her for trying because she has to do something. But what we're seeing is what she is. Like, she didn't do poorly. This is how she's always been. She's always been incredibly unlikable and incredibly unintelligent. That's nothing. It's not like she had a bad night. So like hindsight's 2020, right? Like you can't go back and change the past. Everything is 2020 in hindsight. But
Yeah.
there have been people that have been saying maybe Biden, if they knew that Biden was falling apart as bad, which they obviously did, right? Like Biden's not even like I'm surprised he's alive at this point. He's
Right.
he's definitely not running the country. He's not running the country. He hasn't been for a long time. He certainly isn't now. But in just purely in terms of power, these people don't care about Biden. These people don't care about Kamala. They care about keeping power. So purely in terms of keeping power, it's what gives us the best chance to maintain our hold on power. And of that question, if they had known that Biden was falling apart this badly, then they should have refused to do the debate. They should have pre-taped some like statement where he says Donald Trump is just a big loser and he's just going to yell and misbehave. Everyone's already seen us debate. They know I'm better than him. See you at the polls, whatever. And they should have just refused to do a live debate. They should have refused to do anything that was unscripted, and they should have kept Biden as the nominee until like the end of the election season. But when they did the debate and when he crashed and burned so catastrophically, then they panicked, and their panic decision was Kamala. But her town hall the other night was every bit as bad of an individual performance as Biden's debate was. I mean that. Her town hall, where she's not even up against Donald Trump. She's literally just there with Anderson fucking Cooper, and the audience wasn't undecided voters either. They busted that myth almost instantly. Mm-hmm. There was no undecided. Those were all hand-picked Kamala supporters in a room full of hand-picked supporters on a friendly network. Her performance was every bit as bad as Biden's debate against Trump head-to-head. And so now she may very well have now lost the election on the 25th hour based entirely on her own poor performance. So maybe if you could go back a week, they should have started hiding Kamala and only doing like scripted, like pre-taped stuff. If they could go back a month, they should have just stayed with Biden and not done any interviews, not done the debate. If they could go back further than that, they should have had an actual primary with other candidates. So that way, if Biden dropped out, then they could at least pick someone else out of the field, not be stuck with Kamala or Biden. But it's too late. That's hindsight's 2020. You can't do any of those things. It's too late now. So Trump, and I will say on the other side of it, I don't like Trump, and most of Trump's bullshit is bullshit. But in terms of just the campaign, all the reasons that Trump won in 2016, just being funny, kind of being nonchalant, being dismissive of his opponents, and hamming it up, doing a lot of appearances, he's doing all those things again now in 2024. Whereas in 2020, he was angry and just constantly on the defensive, whether about his legal shit or constantly going on the attack on Biden, and it blew up in his face. So, man, Trump is doing everything right. Trump's going to win. I genuinely think that now it's kind of like it's decided. I think Trump's going to win. Not only that, but did you see that they're now potentially neck and neck in the popular vote?
Whoa.
I still don't think that he has a chance to. I still don't think he wins the popular vote. I think that Kamala will still win the popular vote, but Trump will win enough of the swing states that he wins the election, and he'll be his second term non-sequential. But the fact that there's even a chance that he wins the popular vote tells you it's over for Kamala.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah, and
when you think of all the votes that the Democrat automatically gets from just California and New York, if you have a Democratic candidate that is losing the popular vote with those states, dude, it's over. Because that means you're getting killed everywhere else.
Yeah.
You're getting killed.
Yeah, and JD Vance did a town hall with Chris Cuomo, and he looked fine. Like, I don't know. I mean, obviously, people don't like him. I'm going to say it was bad, but it wasn't anywhere near as bad of a performance as whatever the fuck Kamala Harris was doing. And if Anderson Cooper is looking at you like, wait, what the fuck did you just say? Like, with your answers, yeah, it's not. Yeah. Oh God.
The thing about JD Vance is because at the end of the day, it's always VP versus VP, president versus president. Donald Trump, you can not like Donald Trump, the man, all you want. And you can think that his hamminess is actually, condescension and rudeness. That's fine. But a lot of people like it. Yeah. And in terms of actual, like, leadership and knowledge, I don't think anyone thinks Kamala Harris is a smarter human being than Donald Trump. Like seriously. If you could genuinely make an audience of undecideds, I promise you, even if they wanted to vote for Kamala over Trump on a political level, I guarantee the overwhelming majority would be like, yeah, Trump's a smarter person than Kamala is. And that matters. It comes out. Like Kamala comes off as an idiot whenever she has to talk for more than 5 seconds without a teleprompter. She just looks and sounds like a moron. Donald Trump is not an idiot. You cannot like the kind of person he is, but he's not an idiot. Kamala's an idiot. She's genuinely retarded. And on the VP level, man, Tim Walz, just the constant bouncy fairy bullshit. He's also not very smart. He's also an idiot. And he's trying so hard to play to that progressive crowd. Like, I'm your Midwestern uncle, but also I'm totally hip with all this progressive Marxist,
right,
dick ripping bullshit that you kids are into, But JD Vance is the opposite of that, meaning he in no way comes off as someone who's going to pander to like Zoomers. But he also comes off as someone who is way more polished, way more prepared, way more intelligent than Tim Walz. I mean, a million times.
I mean, that debate kind of proved it.
On top of younger, right? Like Tim Walz isn't exactly a spring chicken, and neither is Kamala. Now that Biden's out of the race, is Trump the oldest by a ways? Yeah, he is. But you can't attack Trump on his age because those same people were promoting Biden for months and months and months when we all knew that he was, brain dead. Right. So they don't have a leg to stand on to attack. See, it's their own fault. It's their own fault for not having a legit primary, letting it pan out, separating the wheat from the chaff, and then picking a better candidate. If they had done that from the word go, if they had told Biden early on, like, hey, you're having some cognitive issues, let's think about the future, then they would be able to attack Trump on a lot more angles. But they can't. They put themselves into a corner. And Tim Walz does not help them. He does not offer them anything that they didn't have. Whereas JD Vance is enough of an opposite personality spectrum to Trump that I think there are genuinely people who normally wouldn't like Trump because of his age, because of his mannerisms, because of his attitude, that would then see JD Vance and be like, well, JD Vance seems like the kind of guy that wouldn't be sitting down having a beer with Donald Trump. And yet he defends him. And he doesn't just defend, he defends him intelligently. You could disagree with it. That's fine. There's plenty of things to attack Trump on. And JD Vance can't cover up Mr. Operation Warp Speed over here and his bullshit and lockdowns. He can't, there's nothing JD Vance can say that's going to save Trump on those issues or the debt. Nothing he can say that's going to save Trump on the $7.2 trillion in new debt. But he at least defends him intelligently. Whereas what does Walz do for Kamala? What does he do for her?
She'll be the first woman president. That's all he's got.
No, she will not. There, that there's some tinfoil hat people who think that the Democrats have purposely set it up for Kamala to fail because they want to get rid of her and they want Michelle Obama to be the first female president.
Oh,
But see, Michelle
Michael.
Obama can't be the first female president if Kamala wins. Because A, that means that she'll be the first female president, and B, in 4 years, Kamala will want to run again, right? She'll want to run for a second term.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that would throw a wrench in their plans. So if the Democrats want to come back swinging in 2028, they need all this to go away.
Do you think if she had chosen, what was his name, Josh Shapiro, do you think he would have been a better VP?
No,
No,
no.
because it was between those two, right? It was between him and Walls, basically. I think he was definitely one of the top remaining.
Yeah, but no, I mean Shapiro's garbage. Shapiro
Yeah,
is
right,
another person who's really easy to hate, and Kamala is incredibly unlikable. Like Kamala has the same issue that Hillary Clinton had, which is she's a very unlikable woman. And I'm sorry, you can call it sexist and misogynist all you want, but the reality, it's not that a woman can't be president. An unlikable, retarded bitch can't be president. A hateful, retarded bitch can't be president. A woman could, but not one of those. And Hillary Clinton was as hateful and spiteful of a vindictive whore that there ever was. And Kamala's a retarded bitch. So those can't be president. Maybe some other woman can. Those can't.
Well, speaking of another woman, so Reason, your favorite publication, they came out and be like, hey, guess who we're voting for? I bet you can't guess who they're voting for. All these people who work for Reason.
I bet they're predominantly voting for Kamala Harris.
Well, some of them are. But
I bet none of them are voting for Trump.
Actually, that's a good one. There's a couple that I do want to talk about here. So a guy named Robert W. Poole Jr., who is their former Reason editor-in-chief and director of transportation policy at Reason Foundation. This is what he said. Who will get your vote in the 2024 presidential election? He said, because Florida is not a swing state this year, I am spared the horrible choice between two unsuitable candidates, both protectionists, both with loony tax ideas, and both ignoring out-of-control peacetime federal spending and a looming national debt disaster. In a number of previous presidential elections, I voted for the Libertarian candidate. Not this time. I cannot vote for a defense policy isolationist who mimics Neville Chamberlain's response to Hitler's invasion of other countries. I will write in a qualified candidate, Nikki Haley. So a Reason person is going to write in Nikki Haley's name, and I guess doesn't like Chase Oliver's foreign policy, which is crazy. Where's the other one I want to read here? Okay.
Foreign policy is probably the only thing that like a big L libertarian would possibly have right.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's probably the one thing. I mean, I don't have like Chase Oliver's platform in front of me, but just knowing what the LP like party platform is, their foreign policy is probably the only thing they have 100%. So the fact that this Reason writer would say that's the reason why I'm not voting for them, and I'm writing in Nikki Haley's a huge warmonger. So that person, Reason, and I mean this. I mean, there's no defending Reason magazine, but Reason should have fired that person on the spot. Like you don't belong in this organization.
Well, they're former whatever it was. So another one that I wanted to tell you about, because you said, oh, I bet nobody's voting for Trump. Well, actually, Liz Wolfe, associate editor, said, I am currently a legitimately undecided voter. I may do the dirtiest deed and vote for Donald Trump. It brings me no pleasure to report this, and I imagine the screenshots of this answer will be circulated by the online ne'er-do-wells to rightly shame me for years to come. Stolen election claims and refusal to put the kibosh on the democracy subverting activities of January 6th disturb me, as do tariffs, but I am more optimistic about the economic conditions that will arise as a result of a Trump administration, and I was pleased with his Supreme Court picks during his first term. Price controls, court packing, and massive amounts of government spending, which I expect to accompany a Harris presidency, will simply not work for me, brother. I do not think the Libertarian candidate has done a very good job of putting himself out there, nor do I believe the Libertarian Party is a viable force in American politics. Oh, shit. I am angry that my choices are between a descent into populism ushered in by the right or descent into populism ushered in by the left. If I do not vote for Trump, I will simply not vote and instead do a cold plunge in the ocean, which will cleanse me of my disgust and calm my weary soul. So this person, Liz Wolfe, might, keyword might, or excuse me, keyword may do the dirtiest deed and vote for Donald Trump. Keyword may. So, of the choices that she has in front of her, Trump is one she's most considering voting for. But you are right. A lot of them are voting for Chase Oliver. I plan to write in Chase Oliver. I will vote for Chase Oliver. Matt Welch says he's going to vote for Kennedy. No, not Robert F. Kennedy. Lisa Kennedy of Montgomery. That's who he's voting for, President. So I just thought that'd be interesting for me to tell you. But yeah, a lot of them are voting for Chase Oliver. So
Whatever. They're voting for their
whatever.
party candidate. So
Whatever.
Yeah. No one can. Reason Magazine's dead, so it doesn't matter.
There's another one here.
They're
Oh,
one
wait.
step up from the Cato Institute in the bowels of hell.
Okay, sorry. I'm going to read a couple more because this one was funny. CJ Ciaramella, I don't know how you pronounce that person's name, criminal justice reporter. He said in 2020, I broke my 16-year streak of not voting in presidential elections because I thought Donald Trump was actually unfit for office by whatever standard you wanted to use, mentally, emotionally, ethically. It turns out I was 100% correct because then he tried to steal the election and ginned up a mob of his fans to storm the Capitol building.
That person should be fired immediately. So that's just a lie. And so that person is demented, is actually mentally unfit to be writing.
I would prefer to return to not voting, but Republicans insisted on rewarding Trump for his behavior by nominating him again. I will once more vote for the candidate with the best chance of beating him, Kamala Harris, because Trump doesn't deserve to hold office and I find him personally detestable. So there you go.
So that last sentence is all that matters. Because you find him personally detestable, you will vote for a genocidal, abortion, child genital mutilating candidate. Because you personally don't like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
What an absolute clown.
Some of the, I just couldn't believe, obviously them saying they're going to vote for Chase Oliver, it's like, obviously. But I do think when you mention Rechtenwald's name, how many of those same people would be voting for Rechtenwald if he ended up being, I know it's about whataboutism and all that shit, but it is like a legit question. Would they be, you know what? I don't like Trump and Harris. I'll vote for Michael Rechtenwald, whatever.
With the kind of leftist filth that works at Reason, I think if Rechtenwald had been the nominee, then they would be more likely to vote for Kamala Harris.
Yeah, probably. Literally one person that I'm reading, because I'm going through it over and over again. One person, Liz Wolfe, may vote for Trump. Everyone else is voting for Chase Oliver, Kamala Harris, writing in Nikki Haley, writing in Kennedy, or not voting. So there you go.
It's just as bad as they did this 4 years ago. I remember us doing a segment on 4 years ago when they did the same thing. Mm-hmm. And back then it was overwhelmingly Biden. It was over the Reason staff was overwhelmingly voting for Biden, which again just forever rules them out of any serious discourse.
And I'm sorry to continue on with talking about Reason magazine, but Elizabeth Nolan Brown tweeted, in Reason staff poll, we have 3 out of 25 people voting for Harris and 2 people who say they're considering voting for Trump. And somehow people keep yelling respectively about how Reason is full of Trump lovers and Harris lovers. Who the fuck I must be following the wrong people because I don't see anyone being like, man, Reason Magazine's a bunch of Trump lovers.
Yeah, that's a red herring. She's trying to make it sound like they're getting equal amounts of hate from the left and right because they're totally independents, but they're not. They're leftists. She's trying all of that. That's just gaslighting to try to make it sound like they're not leftists. In reality, they're getting tons of hate for being leftists. That's it.
Plus, you said 2 people are voting for Trump. Like I said, I saw Liz Wolfe say she may. So in the article that she tweeted that above this, I don't see anyone else other than her even having the like a inkling of saying they're going to vote for Trump. So what is she talking about?
Gaslighting. That's what she's doing.
Oh, Natalie Dozhiki, managing editor, video and podcast. Sorry, I don't want to keep going on in this, but I just find it hilarious. And plus, you getting upset is making me laugh. So, even though Pennsylvania has offered me as many mail-in ballots as my heart desires, this is my first presidential election as a registered voter in Virginia. I guess it's exciting that my vote matters even less than it did before. With that in mind, I'm choosing to vote for the least worst option, Kamala Harris. We agree on very little, but I'm fairly certain that America can't withstand another 4 years of Donald Trump, and there's no telling what he would do in 2028. I hope you know that this vote brings me absolutely no joy.
We do know what he'll do in 2028. He'll do the same thing he did in 2020, which is he left office. Like, they just make up this narrative in their own heads. And
I think what she's saying is that if he loses, then he'll try and run again. How old is this motherfucker going to be? 104?
He's already said he's not running again. So see, they just it doesn't matter what he says or does. They've already decided in their own minds what narrative best fits the arguments they have. They will make Trump into the boogeyman they need him to be. It doesn't matter what he actually says or does. That is supposed to be beneath libertarians. Libertarians are supposed to be the cold, hard, truthful, factual, logical people who don't buy into emotional garbage, except for everyone that works at Reason.
I bet you can't guess who Nick Gillespie's going to vote for. We'll leave that for another time.
Nick Gillespie looks like a pedophile.
How dare you?
How dare I what?
Hey, come on, look at my name.
Mm-hmm.
How dare you? Why would you say that?
I mean, probably because he's like 65 years old and still walking around wearing a leather jacket and slicking his hair and talking about how he keeps getting older and the high school girls stay the same age. That's why.
I hadn't seen that. Wow. Well, JD Vance was on Theo Von's show, which I do want to check out at some point. He seemed like a decent guy on there. I mean, Donald Trump was on Theo Von, and he looked normal. Theo Von looked the crazy one, and Donald Trump actually looked more normal compared to Theo Von. Which, I mean, it's not that hard to do. Theo Von's a fucking nutcase. Great, funny, but he's a nutcase. Sure, he'd agree with me on that. Yeah. So, who are you voting for, Alan? Who are you voting for?
We already covered this in the start of the show. I don't live in a swing state.
So you can write in yourself.
Matter.
You can write in yourself. Just putting your name on there. See, look.
Y'all don't want to write in. Y'all don't want to write in me. Because if I got elected, it would just be the streets would be filled with blood.
Reason would not like you.
No. No, they would not.
They would fucking hate you. I like you though. See, I'm your average Alan Mosley supporter. See. It is pretty funny though. There's a guy at Reason who works for the Reason Foundation. He's like, I'm gonna write a Nikki Haley. She seems like a pretty good candidate. I'll write her name in because of Chase Oliver's foreign policy. Like,
yeah.
So actually, I know I said at the beginning I'm voting for Kamala Harris, but I've changed my mind. I'm going to vote for Alan Mosley. So you've convinced me, Alan. Thanks.
That's fair. Yeah.
You got me out of the
Just hope that I don't win, because if I do, I know how they will drag me out of the White House and execute me after I have killed tons of people. That's how my presidency will end.
Maybe we shouldn't have you win then. We don't want you to die. You're too young.
Well, I used to be too young. Now it's
Yeah, it's getting closer and closer.
I actually haven't looked at that in a while. It is getting closer.
All right. Well, so I heard you do a show. What's that show called?
It's Too Late with Alan Mosley. Wednesday nights at 9:00 Eastern time. Every week. This coming week is the Halloween episode. We got some fun stuff prepared for the Halloween episode, and the episode after that is the night after the election. We got some big shows coming up to finish the year, and some big guests to finish the year too. So Wednesday nights 9:00 Eastern time, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble, X, wherever, just Alan Mosley TV.
Yeah, I mean, episode 38 of this show is going to be the week of the election, like after. So big episode over here too. It could be the last episode actually, so you never know. Could be the very last episode. And if people want to stay up for that because they want to know who won the election, what can they drink to keep them up at night?
They can drink Fox and Sons coffee, which you can find at foxandsons.com. If you use promo code ITL, you get 18% off your order of $34.99 or more. Shipping's free on orders over $40. Which you find on their website, which is foxandsonscoffee.com.
It's good stuff.
It's got a snip hole on the back. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the best part. Yeah. I don't actually drink coffee, but I've been told it's good. So
yeah, you should put some milk in it, some honey. Perfect. Yeah, put some honey to sweeten it up. It's good.
Why don't you just drink a milkshake for breakfast to be done with it?
What are you talking about? Honey's good. A milkshake. Fuck.
I bet you're one of those people that goes to Starbucks and comes out with one of those like just concoctions, bunch of like chocolate and caramel and.
Every once in a while, yes, I sometimes will get a.
I've never been to a Starbucks in my life.
Well, you should be envious that you've never been. How about a Dunkin'?
I have been to a Dunkin'. There's a Dunkin' closer to my house than Starbucks. There's Starbucks is on the other side of town.
Well, there you go.
And I didn't get coffee. I got hot chocolate.
You should just try one coffee, and then be like, you know what? I tried it. It was terrible. I'll never have it again.
I've had coffee before. I don't drink coffee though.
Oh well, I think
it's not like I've never had coffee. I just said I've never been to Starbucks.
You should.
Most coffee people I know would say Starbucks isn't coffee.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those where it's like whatever. I'll just go to Starbucks. Fuck it. But yeah, I mean it's not like the first choice. So, but yeah, when I have a cup of coffee, like I said, pour that coffee in there. I grind the coffee beans in a grinder, and do a little pour over, and then in our little, was it like Hario coffee cup thing or whatever, and pour the coffee into the cup. Well, first I put honey in the cup, put a little honey in there and sweeten it. Put some coffee in there, put some half and half in there, and because Nico is so cool, she's been making some homemade marshmallows. So I put a marshmallow on top of it. Boom.
Oh.
There you go. Yeah. And it's, it's gelatin. I think it's also made with some maple syrup. It's good stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it.
I just like hot chocolate, so.
Just hot chocolate.
All right. Well,
whatever keeps you up at night. All right. We're getting closer to the election, and democracy is at stake.
Is it though?
Yes. Yes, it is.